hello boys and girls. As most of you, if not all of you, have heard, we are going to be having an Author's Day at the end of May. So you are going to take the next few weeks to write your own story, and then we're all going to get on Zoom together and we're going to be able to read our story. You also get to illustrate it too, so you get to draw pictures for the scenes. So you are going to be an author and an illustrator. That's awesome. Awesome, boys and girls. So we're going to just go over a little bit about writing a story. All right, we're going to be doing this over the next couple weeks, just talking about different parts of a story. And some things you've heard already. You're going to be like, Miss Rapido, I know this already. I know, but we're just going to review a little bit. Okay, so we've done a lot of writing, so I know that you all have great imaginations and can be very creative. But we're going to go over just a couple things about a story. So we have talked about plot, right? The plot of the story, what happens in the story. And we're going to delve a little bit deeper into that by talking about beginning, middle, and end. All right? So every story has a beginning, has a middle, and has an end. Now there are different parts that need to be included in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. All right? So your story is going to have beginning, middle, and end. So you can focus certain days on just writing the beginning of your story, just writing the middle of it, just writing the end of it. All right, so you can take plenty of time to go through and find those different parts of the story and to put those together. So I want to go over them, starting, of course, at the beginning. That's a very good place to start. So we're going to start right here with beginning. So in the beginning of the story, you introduce characters and setting. So remember, characters are the people in the story. Or if your story has like animals in it, it's the animals that are talking, or whoever is making the story go along. Those are the characters in the story. So, like you read today, Click, Clack, Moo, Cows That Type, there are a bunch of different characters. There's Farmer Brown, there's the cows, there's the duck, there's all these different characters who are making the story happen. Now the setting is where the story happens, and when also. Some stories don't include the when part of the setting, so you don't have to include that part, but that is part of it. But it says where the story's happening. So where did Click, Clack, Moo, Cows That Type happen? What's the setting? A farm, right? A farm. That is the setting of the story. So in the beginning of the story, you take a few sentences and you introduce your characters. Tell us about them. Tell us what they do. Tell us maybe what they look like if you want that to be part of your story. Give us some adjectives to describe them. And then you also tell us about the setting, where the story is taking place. All right, so that's the beginning of the story. Okay? Then the middle of the story, you answer the question, what happens to the characters? What happens to the characters? Something has to happen with them in the story. So you start to continue the story and tell us what happens. And usually in the middle, there's a problem. Something comes up and there's a problem in the story. All right? So in Click, Clack, Moo, Cows That Type, what was the problem? Well, the problem was that the cows wanted electric blankets, right? That was the problem. But then Farmer Brown wouldn't give it to them. So they didn't give him milk. And then a bunch of the other animals got involved and the problem got bigger and bigger. So that was the problem, right? The cows and the farmer could not agree. So the cows were asking for things and the farmer was asking for things and then different animals were asking for things. So there was a problem. That was the problem in the story. So that was the middle part of the story where we see the problem, we see what happens to the characters, and we see the problem get bigger and bigger. All right? It could be a simple problem like a boy couldn't find his teddy bear. That's a problem too in a story. It could be something small like that, or it could be something that gets bigger and bigger like in Click, Clack, Moo. All right? And then the end of the story. Now, in the end of the story, you need to answer the question, how did the characters solve the problem? All right? How did they solve the problem? So in Click, Clack, Moo, the problem was the cows wanted electric blankets, but Farmer Brown wouldn't give it to them. So they kept writing back and forth. And then how did they solve that problem? Well, they agreed on a trade, right? Farmer Brown would get them electric blankets if they gave him the typewriter. That was them solving the problem. All right? And then often stories have a happy ending. You give a nice little happy ending or a funny ending. like in Click Clack Moo, the ending was that, oh, the duck never gave the typewriter, right? It was kind of a funny ending where now he has the typewriter and he's going to use it for something. So you can have a happy ending or a funny ending, which just kind of brings the story to the end. All right? So let's review all those things. So in beginning, you introduce the characters and the setting. Tell us about the characters. Tell us where the story is taking place. Then in the middle, you have to answer the question, what happens to the characters? Tell us what happens with them. And then there has to be some type of problem. It could be a little problem, it could be a big problem, some type of problem. And then at the end of the story, you show us how the characters solve the problem, and then you can give us a happy ending as well. Okay, boys and girls? So this week I want you to be brainstorming and start coming up with ideas for your story, maybe some characters and, you know, what you think their problem might be. So start brainstorming, and by the end of the week, maybe you can start writing your beginning, writing about your characters and your setting. All right? So, boys and girls, that's how we write a story. Just a very simple way to go over it. I will also put a page that kind of looks like this so you can have it with you when you're writing your story, so you can make sure you have all the elements of it. And I will also give you paper for this. I haven't put paper up yet that you'll be able to write on and illustrate on, but I will get that to you. So that is it for Author's Day. I'm very, very excited to hear all your stories because, like I said, you guys have awesome imaginations, and I think you're going to come up with some really cool stuff. So start brainstorming. When you're brainstorming, that means you just start coming up with ideas. And then after you brainstorm, you start piecing together the ideas and seeing if you can make a story out of it. All right, boys and girls, I'm so excited to see these, and I hope you really enjoy writing your stories and being authors. You're going to be authors. That is so cool. So exciting, boys and girls. All right, have an awesome day.